As you can see here, Pinewoods Campground up there. This is that trail system. There's Ottawa Lake Campground and the lake. So I'm going to focus just on this area for right now. There is a lot more to the Kettle Moraine State Forest southern unit here yet to explore, all the way down to Whitewater. Today I am in Wisconsin State Park, Kettle Moraine State Forest, southern unit, and at the moment we are entering Pinewoods Campground. So I am going to give you a tour of Pinewoods Campground. Now we are mid-June 2020 right now as I come in. The sign said campground full. I know it isn't full, but you cannot come in and just book a site. You need to do everything either online, or you can come in and call and see if a site is available. Alright, as we come in, so right off to our right is going to be loops 1 and 2, and we're going to go take a loop at those. So this section is a 24-hour quiet zone. I forgot about that. So if you don't want the restrictions of, you don't want to be someplace where you can only make noise during the daylight hours and quiet at night, this place is quiet all the time. So we just passed a vault toilet. Now, I don't believe any of these sites have power, but I will let you know if I am wrong about that. They're all back-in sites, so I should probably stop and show you what a site out here looks like. Right, so this is a nice collection of sites right here. So this one over here is a back end. You have room for your equipment down there, and then tucked around the corner you'll find the fire ring and the picnic table, so you can back all the way out to there. It's a nice long site. A lot of them, they list the biggest size of equipment you can fit in here. This one is a pull-through with a little campground on the side. Again, another back-end site here. This is a much smaller piece of equipment. Much smaller space. Now, strangely, this one, unless it's a pull-through, so 10R is a never-ending site here. This must be a pull-through too. So like I said, most of them require you to back in. But even if they're backed in, there's something similar to this where you come way in, and then you can find, there's a nice pad for a tent there. Yeah, this is a pull-through and going back out down there. So a different kind of site here. This is 116. Just have a little parking pad here. Then you come down this trail, and out back here in this meadow is your table, your fire pit, and a spot to put your tent. So this one straight ahead is another walk-in site. So you park up front here and have to go walk back to your site. That's how you get some isolation. Alright, that was loop 1. Now we'll go take a look at loop 2. So that was the drive from loop 1 to loop 2. Now we're finally actually at loop 2. Now out here on this side of the loop, we are in more of a less pine and more of a different kind of tree and deeper woods here. Some of these sites, I wouldn't say they're walk-in per se, but they definitely have the tent pads set off of the drive. Alright, there's a couple sites on the back of the loop 1 here that are like this, where you just sort of pull in, and they got a sign, and no motor vehicles allowed. Hike back in. I'd say bring your bug spray for these. If you want a nice hangout, get away from everybody. This is a nice way to do it. Alright, continuing along here through loop 2. I'm at 168 right now. Again, more back-end sites. Pretty straightforward. Just back in, have a little picnic table and a fire ring. Now, a trick I've now learned when you're looking for sites, if you want to be way back in and tucked into your site, look for the site that can handle the biggest piece of equipment, like one that can handle a 55 foot or something like that, because that'll let you back way into the site and be way off the road. If you get one that handles maybe a 20 foot piece of equipment, you're going to be up closer to the road. Stop and show you one more because we got a complete change of terrain here. So a second ago I was deep in thick woods. Now I'm in a thin pine forest that you can see all the way through, and a site goes way back in. So it's meant for something big. If I was to park my van, the front of the van would be starting somewhere around here, giving me all this extra room for my campsite. You can see where I am way out there. Now, from here over that way is the showers. So we're on the edge of this loop heading towards the shower area. So you could walk directly from here to the showers. There's also a vault toilet just over there somewhere. But if you want the nice ones, you can walk through the open woods here, or open pine forest. There's a path right here. It's hard to actually see the where the path is. It takes you to the shower building, but it's really not that far, maybe 100 yards. Now on that path, when you're walking over, you actually walk past some walk-in sites, or fairly close to them. A couple of the tent walk-in sites. And one time when I was out here, this particular site, I believe this is a handicap site, which has a platform and a little bit of power. next to the vault toilets. I was out here one other time in those walk-in sites. That's where some campers were that came in on a bike. So if you don't have a vehicle, doesn't matter. You know, you're just carrying a minimal amount, you might as well get the walk-in sites. All right, we're gonna go back out and then connect up with Loop 3. All right, here's the map of the campground. We came in from up front, came around, took Loop 1, which is the 24-hour quiet zone and no pets. Then we went and looked around at Loop 2, noting that in the back here is dense woods, and up here you have the open pine forest. And there's the little trail that takes you over to the shower buildings. And now we're going to come on out and zip through Loop 3. Now there is a trail that comes off of the back side of Pinewood Lake Campground, and I am going to go explore that. I wonder if I can take my bike or not. Well, that answer was my question, if I can take my bike on the trail. Guess not. Alright, so this is part of the Ottawa Lake Recreation Area of the Kettle Moraine State Forest Southern Unit. So this also includes Ottawa Lake Recreation Area. All Pinewood campers must register at Ottawa Lake. I missed that memo. I guess I'll have to go over there and see if I'm supposed to register. Well, that's important information. All campsites are reservable. To make same-day reservations, visit the website shown there or call. You can just call now. Okay, coming back on the main road, entrance road, after visiting loops 1 and 2. As you come into the park, or as you're leaving the park, here is the dump station, as well as the garbage and recycling. And just past that is the shower building. So up front in the building is a row of shower stalls. They are gender neutral. Just go in, lock your door. And on one side of the building are nice men's restrooms, and on the other side are the nice women's restrooms. Last night I used the showers, and they are nice and toasty warm. So if you want a nice warm shower, there are nice warm showers here. Alright, pulling away from the showers, just a few feet further down are the Loop 3 campsites. Now this seems to be a little bit of a mix of trees. You've got the pine forest and some other trees kind of mixed into it. So it's not wide open like just a blind pine plantation. Now this is a fairly flat campground overall. Not a lot of hills considering we're on the edge of the Kettle Moraine. So the way that kind of the brush here works is tents and things kind of disappear under the brush. You can kind of see some of the campers, but there's not a lot in here right now. There's still plenty of shade, but also lets the dappled light come in. So I'll just show you one of the sites here. So typical back in, get your picnic table and fire ring just off to the side. And again, if you're looking to be deeper off the road, look to see how big of a piece of equipment it can handle. Like This one right here obviously doesn't handle a big piece of equipment, and so the tent is right there, or your table. There it goes there. And for this trip, I chose this site right over here. I dropped my disposable chair out there just to the market, so nobody tries to call and book the nice site. How this does, as my neighbor has shown over here, allow you the opportunity to hang hammocks in some of these sites. It's kind of hard to tell which ones that would allow that or would work well for that. And the site off to my right here, 269R, apparently seems to be right attached to a trail that I'm going to explore later. It's like you can just walk right off the back and hit the trail. Pit toilet over here on my left, as well as water is available. So this is kind of an openly wooded site, openly wooded campground. You got good shade, but not so dense you're gonna fear of being attacked by the mosquitoes right away. Some of these sites have got a good pine layer. I'm not sure how fun they'd be in the bare feet, but or your pups may not enjoy them either. I know our dogs do not like the pine needles. But it's a great place if you're just planning on tenting. Pop-up campers, those kind of things. But they can handle big rigs if you do not require power. All right, we're going to go out and take a look to see what the group campsites look like. Back here somewhere. Group campsites. Parking or driving on grass. Alright, I do believe I just crossed the Ice Age Scenic Trail, or National Trail. So that comes wandering through here. We got, well, I'll pull over and take a look around. Alright, I'm out at the group campsites here. That group's campsite A here. Now, all of these sites are closed at least through late July, I believe, this year. So behind me over there is the vault toilet, one of two in this group's campsite area. There's a nice big fire pit for the group to hang out. Room for some tents hiding out in the woods there, as well as the open space here. Just off this area here, we got a little path. Heads to an open field for playing around in. So you can play ball or whatever and not disturb the tents. Alright, I'm on the other side of the loop here. This is Group D. It's very different than Group Site A. Group Site A was very much an open field. This one is all in wooded space. A little sun does come in the evening, but it is a wooded site, and there's an additional little trail back there for some more remote spots. And again, picnic tables and big fire ring with the group seating. Something that's quite notable here about this group campsite D is it is isolated from the others. The only connection between it and the others is the road. But it's a bit of a hike out to the next sets. And it is the only one that seems to be in the woods, but I'm not sure what's behind me here. I have a site that is unlabeled. Let's go see if we can figure out what's going on back here. I got a space back here with a couple picnic tables and another trail that comes off over here. Oh, there is another whole different kind of group campsite back here. I'll let you know which one this is. This is kind of fun. This one's definitely the wooded site with little offshoots on it. Here's the group camp pit, fire pit. More group picnic tables here. Additional places for tents out there. And another trail in. Let's go find out where I am. Alright, that wooded site that is deep in there is group site C. And across from its entrance and parking area is the vault toilet. Alright, on the back side of the group campsite loop is another well-groomed play area designated for group games. And this would be group site B with its fire pit and looks like just tent area here. So these group sites are very isolated from each other. Should have some good privacy even as a group. Group B is over there. Group C is way over there with a play area way over there. Group D is way on the other side of those woods on the other side of the Ice Age Trail. And Group A is hiding off over there across from my van. Here I am at Ottawa Lake Campground. Let's go take a look around at this one. Alright, I am at Ottawa Lake Campground. This has one big loop with a whole bunch of crossing over loops. So I'm going to take a loop around the outside, get you a good idea what this campground is like. It is definitely a different kind of campground than Pine Lake. Here's the whole park map there. You have the campground up there, a lake, and other day use activities. Now this campground and park are only about 8 minutes drive over from Pinewoods. So you can stay there, come over here and do day use of the facilities on the lake here, separate from, oops, let's go the other way, separate from the campground. They do have simple sites without electric here that are similar to what's over at Pinewood. But they do have hookup sites here as well. There's an empty site. Typical campground site, pretty flat, a little wooded. A lot of these sites do have electric hookup to them. So this is a much more popular site or campground for the RVers. Got one up on a hill here. We're going downhill, so we got a little terrain shift here, a dip. So because a lot of these sites have electric, they cost more, but you have some of these that do not. And you also have, apparently, looks like some walk-in sites here. So there is a range of facilities available here at different price points. I'm not supposed to go that way because it didn't give me an arrow that way. Maybe I was supposed to. Okay, I guess I'm going through the middle now. Now this campground we're on midweek, and it is much more busy than Pinewoods is. There's a lot of campers here. I know that their season extends beyond what Pinewoods does in the fall. The trees are much shorter here. You don't get quite the same amount of sun protection here. But that's a pretty big rig over there tucked away. And he's probably well booked in there because I think that site backs up to the lake. Looks like nice bathrooms here, but it doesn't look like there's showers. I got a dump station and water to my right, as well as the garbage. Again, no campground host. That was empty. And I'm going to loop back around. Now, straight ahead here, it does look like they are selling the firewood. So definitely out here on the edge, you get some good woods. A lot of it, I would say, is not all that mature in the foresty kind of thing. It's a little more shrub or scrub instead of dense woods. Okay, I'm going to go to the right this time instead of to the left. Follow the outer edge. There's another midsection here. So all of those midsections you have to catch from the outer loop on the back side and then turn in. Now, we get to a section over here, we are on the lake. So there are some sites where you are backed up right onto the lake. And I bet those reserve way ahead of time. And probably for a good length of time. And these are probably people here who are booked for the week. There are still sites available, but they're not on the lakeside, they're on the other side of the road, and it makes a difference. Looks like they have some cabins available too, potentially. These are more lakefront sites along here. There's a trail that takes you down to some of the other facilities and recreation. Some people are really setting up home here. They're not just a quick one night in and out. That gets you a good sense of what this campground is kind of like. And because it's so full, I'm not going to get out and walk the sites like I do in other places where I'm not bothering anybody. Let's go take a look at what else this park has to offer. Alright, this is the day use area of the park. I'm out of the woods, out here on the edge of the prairie. We got a boat launch, swimming, that's ahead. Let's see what's over here. It's a little limited this year because the playgrounds are closed, shelters are closed, at least at this point in the year. I do see a family here who are taking their paddling items in. They're heading down to the beach. They're walking in circles. Where are you going, Dad? He's waiting for me. You can see the beach down there. I'll go. Alright, went out of that parking area, which for the most part this year it's playground, amphitheater, shelter. It does have a good access to the beach, so that parking is useful. This one is supposed to be the beach and boat ramp area. But we'll come up and we'll see what this beach is like. Alright, I'm now down at the beach. We actually have the beach over here, or the designated swim area. It's not like there's a lot of other things going on this lake. Some small boats, paddleboard out there. Got a little rubber raft out there, a couple of people swimming. Fishing pier over there. Now over along that shoreline, out there, some of those campsites were along there. So you can get some out there, but it's not like you really can get to the water. You just have waterfront property. There is a boat ramp over that way, but it's not a very big lake. But it looks like it's a beautiful place to go swimming, and it's in 80 degrees out here right now. Lovely little lake for swimming. And like I said, so this is Ottawa Lake, the campground, but it's only a few minute drive from Pinewoods Campground. So it's if you want to have a more wooded stay but still have a place to come play, you can come over here. Now looking out here, I'm looking towards the campground is over there right now. Lake is off to my left. And I realize the campground is kind of nestled into the edge of that hillside there. So that's where the forest is, and it comes out to that little lake, and then it opens up to the prairie out here. Got a crane and its baby over here on the side of the road. Well, future me jumping in here. I have actually walked a bunch of the trails now, so I have a little more knowledge of what I'm talking about here. So let's look at this again. So, Pinewoods Campground, this is the road in the Pinewoods. Loop 1 and 2 are off over up there. Loop 3 actually comes down through here. So there are a series of campsites along Loop 3 that are right on the trail edge if you're on the outer ring. So I walked last night, I walked out to overlook, and I tell you, there isn't much to see. There's a little tiny spot with a little vista cut where you can see off into a valley, but not much. It's still all wooded. And I came back up through here, got back into my, well, actually hopped into my campsite right there. And this morning I took off, came around. I just finished walking, walking the Ice Age trail out here to this point, and then came over the parking. if you start at this parking area and you're walking out here and you think, oh, this is a nice easy trail, it is definitely different through this stretch. This is very steep, very up and down a lot. It is a challenging hike. But if you're walking along here and think, oh, this is a breeze, it is. I'm gonna go see what else I can hike. Now this is actually a shelter. This is a really nice shelter that you can reserve here. Currently all the shelters are closed because it's June of 2020. But this looks like it'd be a real nice place to hold an event. Great big grill out back there. Lots of room for outdoor seating. But if you need to get inside, this is kind of nice too. Now over beyond this comfort station is a separate parking area for vehicles with trailers. So if you come through here with your full RV or your boat, there's still a parking area for you. So I'm out for my evening walk, figuring out those maze of trails on the map, and discovered that there was a trail that went off the side of one of the campsites near me. And I'll have to show you how the loop 3 at Pinewoods connects or nestles into the trails. The trail map doesn't really show you that it's like loop 3 is part of the trail. Right now I am following the Ice Age trail portion, trying to cut across the other trails so I can get to the overlook before the evening is out. The Ice Age trail is marked here with these yellow rectangles on trees or on posts. Another one up ahead there. So when you hike in the evening around sunset, it's awfully quiet. When you hike in the morning around sunrise, the birds are so loud. The evening is just so quiet. So I'm walking the observation loop. I was hoping would take me to the edge of a ridge or something to look out. I can kind of see out there in the sky some sunset colors, but as far as I can tell, I'm just stuck in the woods. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be observing out here because I still can't see anything. Just over there is the sunset somewhere. Well, this appears to be what you're viewing. A little bummed because the sun is over there, glowing nice and red right now. That's quite the view out there on this spot. You can see a long ways out. A little vista cutting would help. So I bet if you came out here at a time that was less close to the summer solstice, maybe closer to spring and fall, or at the equinox, you might get a better view of the sun, but it's hiding way over there on me. So note, come here closer to it at a time closer to the beginning of spring or beginning of fall. So last night I was hiking down this trail in this section of woods. It's just an open pine forest with no underbrush really, except for, well, a lot of garlic mustard. And I figured I'm walking along the edge of the campground, and it's dark, or getting dark, and I see a little trail. So I hop on my little trail here to an empty campsite. I have no idea where I am in the campground. And I pop out, and I look over, and there's my campsite right over there. So I'm going to continue my hike this morning, following paths I haven't followed yet. And as I did yesterday to get onto this hiking trails, which don't show that they connect to the Pinewoods Campground, but surround it, and I'll show you that on a map later. I'm going to go around the corner here to another campsite and just pop out the back side of the campsite right onto the trail. Alright, so here on loop 3 at site 286R, and I think another one does this too, or a couple of them. I'll back up right to the trail. So I'm just going to walk through. It's an empty site today. Right past the camp ring, right past the table, out the other side. And I'm on the trails. Let's go for a hike. So this section of trail is kind of riding a ridge. You can see this goes up that way. If I turn it around, it's going down that way. But off to the side, it's going way down on that side and sloping off to the side over there. So these trails are kind of like riding ridges of the terrain. They are also made as cross-country ski trails. The section of the Ice Age National Trail, Ice Age Trail, does not support cross-country skiing. They make no effort to make it wide and easy to get through. This is all sloped off in some way or another. But those are very tight, windy sections, and I'll show you more of that in a little bit. Alright, to show you the difference between the trails I'm on, which are the state forest trails here, and the Ice Age National Trail. That would be here. Much narrower trails, definitely not set up for the cross-country skiing. Good for a good hike. So I've reached what appears to be a high point on the trail. I was being followed by a couple with a dog that were at a blistering pace, and I'm just trying to stay out of the way. So I hit a point, because it's a narrow trail too. There's nowhere to pass or anything like that. So I got to this peak with a bench to sit and almost a view. Just shows that I am up high. It just keeps going down, 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 because I'm looking out and I'm at canopy height for other parts of the area. And up here, there's a box. Ice Age National Scenic Trail. And inside, a little registry book. So you can leave your notes. And this person says the trail is hard. Other people say it's beautiful. So this is my first stretch of the Ice Age Trail that I've ever walked. So I think I'm gonna try to make that one of my journey challenges over the next I don't know, a couple years, because this trail is long and there's lots of other things to do. So this gives you an idea of where trying to make the trail connect. It isn't all there yet, but that's the planned area. So this is basically where the glaciers pushed down to and then retreated back. So I've been out walking the trail for over a mile now, and I just hit the sign, and I'm thinking, where'd the horse come from? And where do you expect him to go if they got this far? So out here between the two campgrounds, there's a drive next to the main parking area to the trails. And this particular one looked familiar, and it is. There's another shelter hiding back here that is not just an overhead shelter, it is a completely enclosed shelter. And I think it was about 5 years ago we had a family reunion here. Thought it looked familiar. Okay, I've hit a crossroads now. I've been on the Ice Age Trail over there. It continues off that way to I don't know where outside the park now, but I am going to try to head back in and visit the rest of the trails. So after giving myself about a 15-minute break in the parking area after hiking the Ice Age Trail, and I'm going to try the other loops on my way back to the campground. We'll see what they're like. For now, doesn't look much, can't get much easier than this. This is easy hiking. But things can change. When I first looked at these maps of the trail system here, I was confused because I was looking for the "You are here" point. Well, really, it's here. All the signs are exactly the same. They put a point, reference point at every intersection. So S12 tells me I am at S12 here right now. So I just came up from the parking area, followed the red line up. Now I'm going to follow the yellow one, which will take me pretty much back to my campsite, crossing the Ice Age Trail. Well, I think I'm about wrapping up on my hike here. Yeah, I'm almost back to the campgrounds now. So since this is a state forest, you will be seeing wooded, densely wooded forestry, as well as some of this that was more of a planted pine sections. The trails are sort of marked by difficulty and the loops. The Ice Age Trail that cuts through is probably the most difficult because it does a lot of switchbacks. It was not meant to be just an easy trail. It was meant to follow ridges and really show off what the glaciers did out here. So I think that's going to wrap up my video of this corner of the Wisconsin State Park, Kettle Moraine Southern Unit State Forest, northeastern corner of it from Ottawa Lake Campground to Pinewoods Campground and the trail system in between. That's a mouthful. Oh, and it includes the Ice Age National Trail sneaking in the middle of there. Now what I didn't show you is, like I said, the trails I was hiking are also cross-country trails. There are other trails on these loops that are snowmobile trails and equestrian trails. So down at that parking area, when I said, oh, there's a section to park your trailer if you have a boat or your camper, well, it's also there to park your horses. So you have your horse trailer, so you can pack in that way and connect to the trails for that. Just make sure you're on the right trails, because they'll tell you you're on the wrong trail about a mile or two in. Now, my hike back to the campground from the parking area down here up to here is where I am now. My step counter said I had about 3,000 steps. When I started here and took the Ice Age down and around and over here, that was about 7,000 steps. So this definitely does not show all the twisty roads. It's like looking at a map of a mountain road. There's a lot of switchbacks and things that do not show up and add miles to it. So get out there and enjoy what's near you.
Mm-hmm.